morning, Dubai. Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai Show, where we go through the top trending stories that everyone across the country is talking about. Our top story for you today: an Abu Dhabi resident has filed for a 1 billion dirham divorce settlement.
UAE fertility rates are lower than most Arab countries.
We're talking about a Dubai resident's rant about selling online.
And Dubai police help find 1.1 million dirhams worth of diamonds at the airport.
And later on in the show, we're very excited to welcome our guest Marielyze Abi Daoud, talking on culture, identity and content in the region.
And in today's rapid weather report, it's mostly sunny with temperatures ranging from 33 to 43 degrees Celsius.
So yesterday on our feed, we had Lindsay Lohan talking about why Dubai. First of all, hi Annika.
Hello. Hi Casey.
Good morning.
Nice to meet you. Good morning.
We've been flipping hosts so often.
Yeah.
I was away for 2 weeks. I feel like you were
I
stepping in and out of
filled
the
in
show.
a bit, and then now Masa's on leave because she's going to Jordan.
Just going to Jordan. Welcome to summer in the UAE when people are in and out.
Yeah.
We're travellers. We're a travelling bunch. But most of us like to be in because of the benefits that this country allows you. One of those is privacy, and Lindsay Lohan spoke on that yesterday. We posted on our feed.
She was all about. They asked. So I think it was American journalists, and they were shocked because she was talking about how she likes being in Dubai because no one's going about clicking pictures of her.
And it's true.
Yeah.
I feel like, apart from very few articles, which are probably planted in the Daily Mail by the celebrities themselves, there is that sense of if there's a celebrity there, you don't see a massive rush for people taking photos. Like, personally, would you be inclined to, if you see a Lindsay Lohan type celebrity, are you going to go and take that photo?
No, I'm just a very shy creature outside. And so it actually happened to me. So I was at Kokoro, which, if you don't know, is an amazing hand roll bar in Dubai, in El Sarkal. And in comes, I'm like having my hand roll, enjoying my food, and in comes Anas Bukhash, who runs AB Talks, popular talk show host, for those of you who don't know him.
Super duper.
Yeah.
Famous.
So Anas Bukhash comes in, and now he's talking to the reception, the guest management, and asking them to, find him a table, whatever. There's a wait list usually. And I'm like sitting there, I'm sitting next to the reception. So at this point, Anas Bukhash is like 5 meters away from me. Like if I leaned back, I would be like, my head would be on his shoulder, sort of. I mean, yeah.
Interesting thing to note. Right, okay.
But yeah, it was, and like it was, I was in this like very, like an advantage situation where if I put up my phone and acted like I was taking a selfie, I would technically have taken a picture with him. Okay, I could have done that, but I did not.
First of all, were other people in the restaurant inclined to go and take a photo?
No, actually, nobody like went up to him and took pictures or anything. Actually, he was waiting for a while with the wait list because Kokoro's wait list bows to no one. And
interesting. I was going to say what was going on there. Is that
no. So they didn't so he was just waiting outside.
It's really hard to get into this restaurant, right?
It's not really hard. It's just you have to wait. Yeah, there's usually like a wait time of 1 hour, 2 hours, 90 minutes. Yeah, on like their extremely busy days, especially on the weekends and evenings. Yeah,
okay.
Because the food's really good.
Fair enough.
But yeah, he was waiting outside, and I saw like a few people went up to him and spoke to him, like had a conversation. But I didn't see anybody like taking pictures of him.
It's so interesting because there was a conversation from Robbie Williams. I was trying to remember. He spoke about being on a flight before and having interactions with different cabin crew. And he basically kind of ranted. He was like, some people come up, they barely know who you are. They don't even want a conversation, but they want the photo. And he kind of said it's like you're being treated like a piece of merchandise. And he wanted people to reflect on how they treated celebrities.
Yeah.
And
you see so many of those videos, like people trying to like take pictures with celebrities and kind of like really invading their personal space. And a lot of, I think even Amr Diab comes into so much hate
For what?
Because when celebrities do this, they get like when people do this to celebrities, they get so angry, they do sometimes they punch them or slap them, or like push them away or say things. So very famously, I think Justin Bieber had the whole like it's not clocking to you. It's not, I'm locked in.
It's so tricky for famous people because obviously everyone has their days.
Yeah.
And I would say that if I was famous and someone wanted to come and take my photo, I think we're all human, and like probably 90% of the time you'd be like, sure, no problem. 10% of the time I'd be like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And when you're that level of famous, people scrutinize every inch of how you react. So when you see those photos of like Justin Bieber going like this or Kendall Jenner going like this, they get so much hate for it. And you're thinking they're human and they're having a bad day. You have to give them some slack.
Yeah, like you're not entitled to a picture.
You're not
It's
entitled
just
to a photo.
like it's a huge invasion of privacy, to be fair.
If you were outside of the UAE and you saw Shah Rukh Khan and he was sitting at a restaurant right next to you, would you ask him for a photo?
Only if I felt like there was that sort of like that space. Usually you get it from the wives, because sometimes they're just there to have time with their family or something, you know?
Yeah.
And you just don't want to go and because if I love a celebrity enough to want to take a picture with them, I also love them enough to give them that space. Even though I know that I will probably never see them again. But I'm just like, you know what, it's fine.
I think that's a fair response. If they're in work mode, if they're being paid to be at that event, you could assume that you could go and take photos with them. If they're on a break, no photos. Would you want someone disturbing you on your work break? Absolutely not. So maybe think of it in that level. They're people, they're working. If they're on a break, let them have it. Let's jump into our top story of the day. An Abu Dhabi resident files for a 1 billion dirham divorce settlement. The woman has filed for what could become a landmark divorce settlement in the UAE to the tune of 1 billion dirham, and she's filed it at the Abu Dhabi Civil Family Court.
Now, the 39-year-old, who's been married for 2 decades, filed the motion in April, citing irreconcilable differences, according to The National. She and her husband have lived in the UAE for nearly 18 years and raised 5 children here.
So, got married when they're 19, moved here a year later, have had a family of 5 kids. So, a long marriage. And in a statement, the woman, known as AM, said, "I have a deep and unwavering belief in the UAE's judicial system." The woman who filed the claim has 5 children. "We've lived in the UAE for almost 18 years. We've built our empire here as a family. My children were born here. They were raised in this country. It's our home. And I have so much respect for it and the process currently underway in court."
Notably, this 1 billion dirham claim does not include child support, which is being handled separately. So we'll be watching closely to see how this unfolds.
In long-term marriages, should things be equal? Should divisions reflect tangible contribution to the marriage? Where do you sit?
If not, okay, equal is like plan B. Plan A is based on who can support themselves after this marriage ends. You know, who has more capacity to support themselves. Because more times than not, women give up their careers to stay home, especially if you have 5 kids. There's a good chance that you stay home and take care of the kids. And in that situation, then to go back into the job market after staying home for 18 years is hard. So I would say that there should be more money going towards the person who spends more time, sacrificing a lot of their external life for the life at home.
So it's not always based on the tangible contribution, which are financial. It could be based on the fact that, well, one person was able to go out and do the financials, while the other person was supporting the family at home, which should also be recognised.
Yeah.
I just think that when we look at the amount of money, 1 billion, it really depends on how much they have. You know, because that
Yeah, because maybe 1 billion is nothing.
it could be a drop
But
in the
you know,
ocean.
it could also be, I was just thinking about it, 1 billion, that agreement could have been made because it was made 18 years ago. So they were technically still like very young. So it could have been like, oh, this is never going to happen. So I'm just going to put this unreasonable amount because, you know.
No, I think it's now she's filing for.
Yeah, but oh, I mean, I just assumed that they might have like pre-decided on an amount or something.
I
Or
think
maybe they
in.
had like a marriage contract.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I think in Muslim Sharia marriages, they will set a predetermined amount ahead of marriage. But I don't. This lady's from the Caribbean, so I don't think it's the same. I don't know. But that would be another thing. Like, I'm worth this much. It's a real tricky
interesting.
one. And at the end of the day, there's a family who are breaking up. So we feel for the kids in this case. And as long as the family can reach an amicable settlement, if they have 1 billion, it means they are plentiful in riches, and hopefully that they can just be.
What if he
both
doesn't
happy.
have 1 billion?
Well, then I think that it would be an unfair request.
Yeah.
Speaking of families, let's move into our next story.
Yeah, it's about fertility. So UAE fertility rates, turns out, is lower than most Arab countries, and this is according to the UN's World Fertility Report 2024. Now, the fertility rate in the UAE has seen a sharp decline, going from a 3.76 live births per woman in 1994 to just 1.21 in 2024. And experts are linking this drop to major lifestyle shifts, such as increased focus on careers, financial independence, urban living, and the growing trend of delayed marriage and family planning.
But the report also offers a glimmer of change, projecting a modest rise to 1.34 live births by women per woman by 2054. While still below replacement level, it suggests that evolving policies and social dynamics might slowly start nudging the numbers upwards, which we are seeing a lot of kind of progressive and positive policies for family planning here in the UAE. But if we look at those numbers, this is over a 3-decade period, and we might even ask you for your own situational thoughts on this, because it's saying 3 decades ago, and I was born just over 3 decades ago, the average birth per woman here was
3.76.
It was 3 to 4 kids per family, basically. 3 decades ago. Now it's between 1 and 2, closer to 1. I was a 6-kid family.
Amazing. Yeah, my parents, we were a 3-kid family.
And my 6 kids, I'd say the maximum we will have is 3. So it's like decreased by half.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what do you think? Is it careers? Is it your fact that you're focusing on your career? Is it the fact that maybe you just don't want kids? So I was looking into it a little bit, and these are the key reasons why people think fertility rates are declining. So one is your change in lifestyle priorities. So for example, you focus on your career, you get married much later in your life. So, kids are no longer part of the question for you, or you are very focused on personal freedom. So you want to spend the rest of your life traveling and developing yourself, that you don't think you have time for kids. And then, of course, there's the economic pressure. So because cost of living increase, childcare expenses, and how we live in an environment where Trump says one thing and the market goes boom. So, it's
High-level factors.
Exactly. And then there's education. So a lot of women go into higher education and they're too busy educating themselves to bother about getting kids. So that, and then of course there's urbanization.
Okay.
So because smaller living spaces apparently means you have less family support, because you all become nuclear families instead of living with the community, and it takes a village to raise a kid.
Very interesting.
Then there's like environmental concerns. So climate change, overpopulation, ethical considerations of like, should I bring another kid into a world that cannot handle its population right now?
They're all valid choices. And when you look at the comments that have come in, they literally reflect exactly what you just said. People have said education is too expensive. Someone mentioned maternity leave. Someone said, you know, if your income and then you've got a high standard of living, then you're... What I think this reflects is people are more... It's very individualistic.
Yeah.
And everyone has their own thoughts on this,
Yeah.
all valid. However, maybe people reflect more now than we did 30 years ago. People are taking the time to make their decision rather than society's doing this, so I'm going to do this. Everyone is making their own choices and all choices are accepted.
Yeah, that's true. That makes sense.
Maybe that's why.
But also, just random, but I think there's a social media aspect to it. Also, like, you know, you spend so much time on your social media. You're so busy, you know, you put yourself under so much pressure to be busy all the time and do so many things. And to be fair, bringing a kid into the world requires a certain amount of alone time, which I feel like is no longer existent, even at home. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah.
All good choice. All makes sense. There could easily be a social media element to it, but yeah, I think it's a very important decision to take, and it's great that people are making sure that they put the thought into the decision, rather than.
Would you want kids?
Yeah, I would like kids. Not sure how many. And hopefully one day I shall be able to have them. Thank you for that live question.
Sorry, I forgot to mention also in this report, the fertility rate is projected to increase by 2054. Not to back to a 3 point, but at least to like a 2 point something. So not all hope is lost, and I think we are slowly, you know, our generation
maybe more excited to have
healing,
a bigger family.
Yeah.
Healing, interesting. Okay, let's jump into our next story. We're talking about a Dubai resident's rant about selling online. So first of all, we put it to you, the audience, have you tried selling something on any of the numerous online sellers in Dubai? And one resident has had she has a word of warning. So this was onto a Facebook group. She said, I'm honestly so disappointed with some of the experiences I've had selling on online platforms recently. As many of you know, we're moving out, and like any situation, we're doing it out of necessity, out of choice. So they're basically selling a lot of stuff, not a choice, they have to do it. So for the past month, I've listed items online at half their value or even less, trying to make things easier for both the buyers and ourselves. But instead of fair deals, these are the types of responses that she's getting. People who make me reserve items for days and then ghost. Scammers trying to hack or trick me. Extreme lowballs, I've seen this so often, asking for 10 or 20 dirham when the item is worth between 100 and 200. Buyers who come, confirmed and then disappear. Fake profiles, men posing as women just to chat, not to buy. Moving is already stressful and this just adds to the frustration. She puts out this humble request. If you're buying from someone who is relocating, please don't take advantage of their situation. A little fairness goes a long way. I've been in this lady's shoes. I've had many of the above, not all, many of the above, and I feel her pain.
Wow. Okay, tell us more. Tell me your story.
One of the most frustrating ones is the lowball offers. So you've already agreed on a sum, 900 dirham for a fridge. They come to the door. They're like, I've got 800. And they're like, oh, this is for my boss, so I don't have any more cash. I have 3 to 4 examples of men, women coming to your door. They're in your home and they've brought less money. Or they're trying to haggle with you face to face when you've already agreed. And I'd be quite clear on this set agreement before you come to the house, because otherwise...
Yeah.
And I'm very clear of like, if there's any issues, if it's damaged, I'll have photos of the scratches, it's all there. So there shouldn't be any room for haggling. And I find it really uncomfortable to have a stranger saying, I just don't like that face-to-face.
Yeah, I think I've only sold things like twice not sold, but like once I was selling an old phone, and that I went onto a website, and I was only going to sell it on the website. So like this guy came and he paid me the exact amount, and there was no discussion about it. That was it. So that was one. And the second time was clothes. I had a lot of. I'm trying to like cut down my wardrobe and go into a capsule wardrobe. It's not happening. But yeah, I was trying to cut down my wardrobe, and at that time, I had all these clothes into put in, and they kind of come and they weigh your clothes and they pay you based on the weight. So if you have like a kg of clothes, they give you, I think it's 2 dirhams per unit or something. So yeah, and then again, there was no negotiation. It was just pay you.
I feel like that's a service rather than I feel like these are like Facebook Marketplace, Dubizzle type of.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like I've heard way too many stories about it. So I've never really. But you know what I did? Oh wait, no, I did. I have. So with my very first salary in Dubai, I was on Dubizzle, and I met this man in Satwa, and I bought a cycle from him.
Fair price?
Fair price, I think. And he was actually, I had like the sweetest experience now that I think about it. Because I was living in Silicon Oasis at that time. The purchase happened in Satwa, and he threw in his cycle helmet and the reflecting gear and a cycle pump, if I'm not wrong.
Nice.
So he gave me all of that with the cycle, and it was, I think, altogether like 200, 300, maybe 500 dirhams. I don't remember anymore. And I was struggling because it was a big cycle. It was one of those old cycles. So I was struggling to take it with me to Silicon. So this was a Pakistani man who lived in one of those like the sharing apartments in Satwa. So one of his like friends in the apartment itself ran a pickup truck.
Wow,
so he also spoke to his friend to help me get the cycle from my place, from Satwa to my place.
I'm such a cynic, and I'll be like, he was offloading that bike, you know.
No, but the cycle worked perfectly fine. There were no issues with it. It was fine. He was just a very, very nice man. I felt like from his energy, he was very nice. He was not trying to flirt. He was not trying to like get anything, because I never had any contact with him after.
So yeah. I think the summary is there are good people on these selling platforms, but the problem is it is littered with a number of people just trying to get a good deal, and you will get lowballed constantly, which is really frustrating because, there's some good people and then there's people just trying to get a good deal. Speaking of a good deal, we have a story about someone who was carrying a lot of jewellery through an airport. And this story actually made my jaw drop to the floor when Annika was explaining it to me earlier. So let's jump right in.
Yeah, so this is about 1.1 million worth of diamonds being lost and then found at the Dubai airport. So a Dubai-based jeweler recently traveled to a GCC country for an exhibition, carrying 4 bags filled with high-value diamonds. But upon arrival, he discovered one of the bags wasn't his. Alarmed, he immediately flew back to Dubai and filed a report with the General Department of Airport Security.
Okay, so this is nightmare travel stuff. You've got 1.1 million worth of jewels in your bag, and it turned out another traveller had unknowingly picked up the jeweller's bag in a mix-up. Like, this is literally a movie. In a mix-up at the airport, and in the mix-up bag had already flown home to Bangladesh with it. However, thanks to swift coordination between Dubai Police, the UAE Embassy in Dhaka and Bangladeshi authorities, the missing bag was tracked down and safely returned to its rightful owner in the UAE. First of all, I put it to this jeweller, what bags did you have these million worth of jewels in it? Did it have you know the way like people have got like these like coloured things and they've got these big
tags,
things?
Yeah.
Did you clearly mark this bag as yours before you travelled, or did you have an Amazon basic suitcase like I have and everyone has, and I can see how this happened?
I feel like that's what happened because there's no way. I mean, I feel like if you were carrying, I could just carry like random, maybe my favorite perfume or something in my luggage, and I'm so careful about my luggage. So I just feel like when you're carrying 1.1 million worth of diamonds, you're going to be extra cautious about how you're carrying it and so on. And it just...
Who's checking in?
Yeah.
Who's checking in that much? Is that even legal?
So according to the customs, you have a limit of 60,000 in material goods.
Before you need to declare?
Yes, yes.
Maybe he did declare it, actually.
I'm sure he declared it because that's how he could approach like the airport staff and tell them. But it's bizarre. Like, how do you, like, just one person taking 4 suitcases filled with diamonds? It reads crazy to me.
I picked up the wrong luggage once. I was flying to America. I was going to South Carolina via JFK. I spent a night in New York. At the New York airport, JFK, I picked up the wrong luggage, took it with me to a hotel, didn't open it, and then flew down to South Carolina the next day, opened the luggage, and I was like, this isn't mine.
What was in it? Did you see anything like bizarre?
Yeah, I began to understand. I didn't go through the stuff, but what I needed to do was, this was a few years ago, I needed to figure out who owned it. I contacted the airline, and from what I understood from I didn't go through it.
Yeah.
It was like a designer style person who lived in a part of New York. They hadn't taken my bag. They contacted the airport as soon as they saw one lonely suitcase that looked quite like theirs waiting. So they had said, I think this person's, and then I had to pay for the repatriation of my bag to New York to them on a student's budget, but say la vie. Yeah, not ideal, but since then I take care to have a tiny little ribbon of a certain colour that's going on my black Amazon Basics luggage.
That's smart. That's smart. We do green tape.
Green tape.
So just like green tape around the handle and we're all good to go.
You've got to, because this luggage is all looking so similar.
Yeah.
It's 8:58 on a Wednesday morning, and we're so excited to welcome our next guest, Marielyze Abi Daoud, talking on culture, identity and content. She's going to be joining us after this very short break. Hey guys, welcome back to the Lovin Dubai Show. Today's guest is Marielyze Abi Daoud, a creator who shares real moments from her life as a Lebanese Filipino living here in the UAE, from food and culture to just everyday stuff we can all very much relate to. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
First of all, congratulations are in order. Something big, life changes just happened?
Yes, I did. I decided to move forward and start my social media career, as in being a real full-time influencer.
That's amazing. That's a big move. What inspired you to do that, to take that step? Because you left a full-time job, stable.
I would say the opportunities that came with it. I would say, being in the scene at a young age, made me realize, a 9-to-6 job isn't for everyone. Mm-hmm. So I decided to pursue it full-time as of now, but I would definitely love to go back into the real full-time job, hopefully in the future.
Well, let's see where this journey takes you.
Exactly. We never know. Maybe I'll never go back.
Maybe.
People sit so often and they talk about wanting to take that move. You say you've been in the scene for a long time.
Yes.
Tell us, first of all, can you tell people what you do as a creator?
So I'm a social media content creator. If you guys don't know me, I'm, as she said, half Filipino, half Lebanese, born and raised in the United Arab Emirates. I started off my career as very silly comedic jokes, to be honest with you. It was a dare from my dad. He pushed the green light, the button, as to you need to start posting on socials.
Really?
Wow. Yes. So I was like, you know what? Let me just do it. We never know where to go. I started tackling on the point of me being a mixed biracial kid, on how I may look Asian, but I do speak Arabic fluently. People did tap onto that topic, and next thing you know it, I'm here.
Wow.
Dad making that, like, because so many people have the issue with parents not wanting to post on social. If that's the case, would you have advice for them if they don't have a dad who's saying go for it?
I would say you do it anyways. You never know where it goes. But of course, having a very supportive background did help. Like, I'm so thankful both my parents, my dad and my mom, did support this journey.
Do you remember the first video that really launched you into the mainstream, or like, you know, kind of blew up?
Yes, it was actually to a trending audio about a pizza. I don't know what it was, but then I just added texts onto the video about like, oh yeah, I may be Filipino, but the Filipino community doesn't accept me. I may be Lebanese, but the Lebanese community doesn't accept me. But you know what? I'm gonna accept myself for who I am. Till everyone started accepting me.
Why do you think that's amazing? Living in the UAE,
Yeah.
why do you think that piece of content related to so many people?
Surprisingly, there were a lot of mixed biracial kids in the country that not many people know about. And I think it did connect with them in terms of like, oh, like, okay, let's accept us for being mixed kids, not for like going through one route. Because like sometimes when I was younger growing up, I would tell people, I'm more Lebanese oriented for me to be accepted in the Lebanese side. Or if I'm with the Filipino community, I'll be like, no, I'm more in the Filipino side to be accepted with the Filipino side. At this point, I was like, you know what? I'm from two countries.
Yeah.
Both of my roots are from two different countries. I'm going to accept that, whether I like it, whether you guys like it or not. And then it did tackle on the point. It's like, oh, yeah, you know what? Let me identify as two different cultures.
Mm-hmm. That's very interesting. I feel like I do know that people struggle a lot when, you know, realizing that a person doesn't fit into one box, and just like the whole like trying to get you, like how do you go about having that conversation? Because it can't be easy to like look at someone and say, no, I am both, you know?
No, it did take time. I'm not going to lie to you. It did take a lot of time. Growing up, you know, as I said, it wasn't accepted at all. Mm-hmm. Like, it wasn't accepted.
In what ways was it not accepted?
It was in terms of, like, how can an Asian get married to an Arab? You know, it was still very brand new. Back in you're talking early 2000s. In school, it wasn't accepted as well. You know, it's like the foreigners would be like, foreigners as in the Asians would be like, oh, you can't sit with us, you're too Arab for us. And then the Arab kids would be like, oh, you can't sit with us because you're too Asian for us. So then growing up, you know, I was like, if you guys are not going to accept me, and I'm not already accepting myself, like, how am I going to go above this issue? I did have friends that did love me for who I am, and I'm so grateful for that. So that helped the role. And it was always my parents, as I said, it's parental guidance, that they did push the facts like, no, you should be proud for who you come. You know, we pushed love boundaries for us to get you to where you've come. So, you know, you have to push it and see where life gets you.
Well, we love you for who you are.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Well, like, what was that like in school? Like, was it tough at the time?
It was very tough,
I'm sorry you went through that.
Yeah, it was very tough. Like, I could easily tell people I did have an identity crisis at some point. Like, I genuinely didn't know who I was, you know, at a very young age. You know, try putting a 4-year-old into that peer pressure, into like, no, you're not from that community and you're not from the other community. So you can't do anything about it. So it's like, I'm 4 years old. I'm looking at both ones. Like, I'm speaking Arabic, but I can't speak my mother's tongue, which also played a role. So I speak Arabic, but I don't speak Tagalog. And at the same time, it's like, okay, if I speak Arabic, it's just the image, and you know, this doesn't fit. And you would hear backlash slurs about like people talking behind your back, you know, Arabs talking behind your back, and you understand them, and you're young, and you get to like. It was very tough, but I'm so happy that the community grew so much since that time. Being on social media, me and other people like me as well, did pave a huge route. Like, till this day, I get parents texting me. They were like, "You're paving routes for my kids," you know, and I'm so happy that I get to do that, because, you know, like, I didn't have anyone at my time.
That's
so I'm
amazing.
so happy for that.
So as you were talking about that, you've made videos about colorism,
Yes.
talking about how people perceive you. Do you think you know, it still influences how you're seen, especially like when it comes to like the media, and like when you're putting yourself out there in your content. How do you think your skin color affects these?
So, as I said, in the Filipino culture, unfortunately, we have a very bad bleaching, you know, like the culture is like you need to be white, fair to be beautiful.
Right.
Okay. So that's in the Filipino culture, it played a role. It's like, oh, they targeted me directly as black beauty, which literally means morena. It's morena skin. I'm known to have morena skin, so it's black beauty. In the back of my head, I was like, okay, black beauty. What's wrong with that? You know, you see the most gorgeous supermodels, you know, amazing people on front cover of magazines with that dark skin and even darker than my skin. I'm going to appreciate it. I go to the beach and tan 5 times to get darker 5 times than I already am. Because as I said, you know, it's a skin color that I love, and I'll forever love it. When it comes to the Arabic community, the Lebanese beauty standards, unfortunately, it's blondies with blue eyes. You know, like she would be the ideal beauty standard. You know, she's the it Lebanese girl.
Yeah,
Irish skin, pale as.
Yeah, so fair skin, blue eyes, blonde. You know, that's. But it's not their fault. You know, it's how the Lebanese was placed in the scene. So I wouldn't say it's anyone's fault for them to deceive me. I do talk about it just to make people more aware about it, but they are growing. Alhamdulillah, they're growing more about the topic.
It's so cool because sometimes we do talk a lot on the negatives of social media. However, what you're doing is something positive. And as you said, there's been a lot of positive reactions from that. So you said at the beginning of your career it was on the comedic side.
Yeah.
How has your content evolved now, and what type of content are you most regularly putting out?
Try to put more about me, about myself, being a biracial kid in the UAE, or within the GCC, you could say overall. I would say I do tend to try to do lifestyle, but there's also specific standards in the GCC region that you have to fit for like a lifestyle one, but I try to tend to be realistic about it. It's like, no, I'm not going to carry an Hermes bag 24/7, you know, like I'm not going to wear the top tier clothes 24/7. So I try to tap in realism into my content, you could say.
That's amazing. So what's your process when you're trying to decide what videos go on TikTok, on your Instagram? What is your process to like, you know, shortlist those videos? What type? Yeah, how do you focus?
Unfortunately, on Instagram, I tend to be a bit more aesthetic and professional.
Yeah,
it's a side of me that's, you know, like, let me be quieter. On TikTok, it's literally me just ranting. It's just like I put the camera on and I just talk for the sake of talking. I talk about my storylines, day-to-day activities, unboxings. I just talk.
So do you like try to share any particular aspect of your life, or is it just like everything?
No, everything. At this point, everything. I like to be so real to the point, it's like you know what is happening to me 24/7.
And what is the process for going from, you know, people talk about like in football, you go from amateur to professional.
Yeah.
You're going from like, I guess, an amateur to a professional content creator. Like, what is the process in terms of if someone wants to do the same path? Like, how do you get noticed by brands? How do you start doing brand deals?
I would say it's you connecting with the brand. I think it's like you, first of all, how it would really be seen is you featuring it from time to time, of you genuinely using the product. At the end of the day, I personally don't want to market a product that I genuinely don't use. So when you create a relationship with brand, it just opens millions of doors afterwards. But then you, of course, tend to pick which brand to work with in terms of like, oh, do we meet each other's values or not? And then it goes from there. Amateur to professionalism, I would say it's hard. I'm still trying to get there. Like I'm still trying to reach that standard. It does take time, and it takes consistency. That's the main thing. You need to post every single day, and you need to be your true, authentic self.
Do you work 5 days a week or 7 days a week?
7 days a week. 7 days a week, 24 hours.
Well, I'm just wondering, so like when it comes to content creation, when would you know that you've like made it? At least like what, for now, what is your idea of having got their success, I would say?
My success factor, I would count it in terms of my voice actually being there and people actually like being a full, like an actual influencer. Like I influence people. That's when I know I'm successful. It's like if I do carry a product and it's sold out the next day, I'm successful. You know, I'm gonna get there soon, hopefully.
Well, I can't wait for you to look back on this interview in 10 years and see the growth from there. Before you leave us, we want to play a little game with you. It's called What Gives Marielyze the Ick. We've got this buzzer, so if it's icky, you just go beep.
Okay.
It's mainly content stuff. Let's see.
Yeah. Okay, so should I do the first one? Okay, so what gives you the ick? Posting a TikTok but deleting it because it didn't get enough likes.
Is this... Yes, a big ick, because it does play with your algorithm, unfortunately. And it means that you're not true to what you posted in the first place.
Have you ever deleted a video?
Yes. Guilty is charged, yes, unfortunately. But I did in my early years. Now I just genuinely post for the sake of posting.
Seeing someone correcting your pronunciation?
No. I have to.
Appreciate
Yeah, I genuinely, thank you. Thank you
Nice
so much.
growth
Why?
mindset too.
Because, you know, like people do make mistakes, and I think fixing it wouldn't make an issue, you know? Like, why not? Like, no one's perfect. Like, I don't think I speak perfect English, but correct me. No problem.
She's down for it, okay.
I feel like, yeah, when it's like not the only language you speak, you're a little more open to...
Yeah.
I think mistakes are so fine. I would just never correct someone because it's like, who cares?
No, it depends on the situation, to be honest with you. If like we're having like a deep conversation, you're like, oh yeah, you said that wrong.
Yeah. if it's done as a power
Like,
move,
wait,
got
that's
you.
an ick.
Yeah, that's an ick.
Yeah, fair.
Okay, next one. A guy who takes mirror selfies.
Ooh. I'm not so sure. It depends what type of mirror.
Okay. A guy with taking mirror selfies at the gym.
Is he sweaty and all, or like how detailed can you get?
Oh, okay, just like flexing biceps at the gym. Mirror selfies.
Yeah. Like who are you flexing your biceps to?
Okay. What? Oh, no, there's this very common one. Shirtless in the washroom with the towel on.
Oh, big egg, big egg.
That's the most common one.
That's yeah.
I don't know what, like, just go to the gym, do the gym, and leave.
Exactly.
50-50 on a first date.
Arabic culture, hello? No. No. I mean, later, okay, if it's like the third date, fourth date, I don't mind. Like, I'm not going to be that type of person, but like first date?
I love the mix of cultures in this country because it was bring people together who've got like completely conflicting thing, and it's like the relationship's over before it started because you don't agree on these things.
Do you think that's a point where both cultures agree upon, like that men have to
No,
take it?
sadly, no. The Filipino culture are the 50-50 type of people, unfortunately. They're the ones that I know of. I'm not gonna generalize,
Yeah.
of course, but yeah, sadly, no. I think it does come from my Arabic root. 50-50? No, thank you.
I think Western is such a mix. I don't even know what to say, but yeah, I think it's a mix. Mainly not 50-50, but I think there's a 50-50 seeps in. It seeps in.
Debatable. We're both looking at each other. It's like debatable.
I think we've got time for one more.
Okay, so people who say I'm an influencer in their bio.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very big. Like me, I can't even say the word openly. It's like, oh yeah, hi, I'm an influencer. Like I can't even say it properly. It is a big ick because, okay, I'm glad that it's a full-time job. You know, I did take the decision to make it a full-time job. However, let's not revolve your personality around it, because being an influencer is showing your personality. You get me? Like your personality shouldn't be revolved over the fact, oh yeah, I'm an influencer. It's you becoming an influencer was because of your personality, if that makes any sense.
Not a little bit icky, not at all. You can watch the full show again on YouTube when it goes live. Marielyze, thank you for your time this morning. Really appreciate getting to know you a little bit better.
Likewise.
Thank you, Annika.
Thank you.
And that is the end of the Lovin Dubai Show today. We're back with you every single weekday morning, same time, same place. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.